welcome back to the show, Dead Format fans. I know that my videos have been taking up quite a while, and this time it's gonna take even longer because I've got so many new records here. Let me show you. First off is Bob Dylan, Blonde on Blonde, Bob Dylan's very best album, probably. Next up is Highway 61 Revisited, probably his second best album. Bringing It All Back Home, the first album for him to use electric instruments and have a backing band. Another side of Bob Dylan. This one's just crappy. The Freewheelin' Bob Dylan. This one was like his first good album. Bob Dylan's first album, and it's in stereo too, very nice. This one was actually his worst album. Nobody liked this album at all, amazingly enough. Meet the Beatles, the first album by England's phenomenal pop combo. This is the American version, and it is on mono. Alright, and it's got the excellent songs from the Beatles, I Wanna Hold Your Hand, and all of those other good songs. Whatever. The Beatles' second album, She Loves You and Roll Over Beethoven. Alright. And by the way, these are the American versions of the Beatles songs. You didn't get these in Europe or the United Kingdom, or maybe you did get them, I'm not certain. Something New, the Beatles. That was their third album, probably. Beatles 65. Beatles 65 again. Beatles 6. Revolver. Revolver is one of the absolute greatest album ever made. Ever. And it's so good. 1966. This one's in mono. Very nice. Beatles Help. The soundtrack to the movie Help, of course. The Beatles Yesterday and Today. This is a second state version of the album. Very nice. I'm not gonna peel it off. Next up, the Magical Mystery Tour soundtrack to the movie of the same name. This is an original one that has the 24-page color booklet inside. Ooh, isn't that something else? Isn't that something else? Whatever. Next up, Simon and Garfunkel, Bookends. Simon and Garfunkel, Parsley, Sage, Rosemary, and Thyme. Simon and Garfunkel, Wednesday morning, 3 a.m. 2001, A Space Odyssey, the original motion picture soundtrack. I'm holding these up straight, right? I haven't been paying attention at all, unfortunately. This is the original release of the album. This has the version of Thus Spake Zarathustra, you know what I'm talking about, and it's done by the Vienna Philharmonic instead of the one who did it in the movie. I forget what it is. I should have really researched this more, but who cares? The Beatle Beat, featuring I Want to Hold Your Hand, The Bugs. This is the Bugs. This is not the Beatles at all. This is a Beatles knockoff band. These were like the very first Beatles knockoff band. Like, this was an album to trick your grandma, into thinking that it was the Beatles, but everything about it is a lie. These guys aren't the Beatles. This is not the original Liverpool sound, because these guys were from, like, Nebraska, and it was not recorded in England. It was recorded in Minneapolis. Those guys, quite skilled liars. The original motion picture soundtrack, Xanadu, featuring the Electric Light Orchestra and Olivia Newton-John. A very fantastic soundtrack album, and a very neat little movie if you've never seen Xanadu. It's a terrible movie, but it's terrible in a good way. In a way that I like, and that means it's alright. B.B. King, Indianola, Mississippi Seeds, one of B.B. King's very bestest albums. Richard Pryor. That nigger's crazy. I said it because I'm an American. Let's see. XTC, Skylarking. Oh, I should talk about it anyway. Richard Pryor. This is the original version of the record released on the Party label from what was the Stax Records? Yes, released on Stax Records Party label, 1974. This was the album that made Richard Pryor a huge sensation, an icon, you know, almost overnight, really. XTC, Skylarking Psychedelic Pop from the 1980s, and this is one of the later versions of the album because it has Dear God on it, the sort of anthem song. The original motion picture soundtrack to Sid and Nancy, Love Kills. I got a lot of original motion picture soundtracks in the past while, haven't I? It's pretty amazing. This one actually didn't have any Sex Pistols songs on it. What an utter disappointment. New Order, Power, Corruption, and Lies. I probably have that title right. Alright, New Order was the band that Joy Division became after Ian Curtis took a sudden fall. But they were good. It's good synth pop and post-rock. The Cure, The Walk, 6-cut mini LP. This was an album that only us Americans got. The original The Walk was just a single, but when they brought it over to America, they decided to add a few more songs to make it into a mini LP. Very nice. Sade, Promise. Sade was one of the, best jazz. Was it jazz? No, it wasn't jazz fusion. It was jazz something. It's smooth jazz. Probably. They were one of the bigger ones of the 1980s. Very nice. Gypsies, Tramps, and Thieves from the Cher. This was her big album, 1971. Very nice. And this is the last record I picked up. How much time? I've only spent 6 minutes or so doing this. Oh, it feels like forever. Ministry with Sympathy. Ministry was one of the more famous of the industrial metal bands to arrive out of the late 1980s, but this is their very first album, made back when they were just a shitty synth pop band. Yeah, this is the album they don't want you to know about because it's terrible. They wanted to be a metal band, but their overlords at Arista said, no, you guys need to make a synth pop sound record. And they said, okay, we'll do it, because, spineless and whatever. But anyway, they actually used some of the techniques they learned about synth to make their industrial metal. So, in a way that it came around and it helped them. Oh, and I guess I should say about these Beatles albums, man. All these Beatles albums and the Simon and Garfunkel and the 2001 Space Odyssey. All of these records with the Bob Dylans, all of these records, my mother actually picked up for me. She's such a lovely woman. She went to a yard sale and found these and got these for $1 each. $1 each for all of these excellent, fantastic records, Beatles, Bob Dylan, etc., etc. Now, they smelled horrible. They were covered in mildew and mold and dirt, and I had to clean them off. Took more than an hour or so. But it's okay. They smell fine now, and they're safe to touch with human fingers and no gloves. But anyway, thanks for watching.